The best way to get better at programming is to practice. And in this example, we're going to write functions that allow us to find the sum and the average of a list. As always, this file is available via download in a link provided in the description below. You can download it, try it on your own, check your answer, or if you get stuck, pause and follow along. All right, so let's get started. We've got a main function and it's called correctly. Let's look at creating those two more functions. Very easy to do. We're going to say def sum, and then I'm going to take a list. Now I'm going to call it LST because LIST is a built-in function. We don't want any confusion whatsoever. So what am I going to do inside this function called sum? Well, I'm going to create a variable called total and set it equal to 0. This is going to be my running total it's going to have through my list. The next thing I'm going to do is do a little for loop for num and LST. I'm going to say total plus equals num. This is very similar to what we did in a previous example where we summed everything up. Nothing weird here. And then I'm just going to return total. So the only difference that we see is the fact that this was put inside of a function. The function takes a parameter that is a list, and it's going to return a value. That's easy enough. Okay, so what about averaging a list? I'm going to say def avg, short for average, and I'm also going to have a list. Now, these two parameters are just by default named the same. They could be completely different names. Parameter name does not matter. How are we going to get this? Well, I need to take the sum of my list and divide it by the number of elements in my list. Well, wait a second. I already have a function that gets the sum of my list. So instead of rewriting that whole thing, I'm going to specify return sum LST divided by the length of LST. That's my average. Notice I didn't have to write hardly any code at all because it was done for me in an existing function. Now it's just a matter of how do I print this stuff out? So inside my main function, I'm going to say print numbers just so I can see everything. Notice here I have a print statement, the sum total list is, and then I specify sum and I pass in numbers. Then I say the average value of my list is, and I say avg numbers. Very, very simple there. If I go and run this real quick, I have the sum total of my list is, and the average value of my list is. You can see that right there. Very easy for me to work with. All I did, pass the list into a function as a parameter. Works exactly the same way as if I pass in a string, a number, anything else. And that's how you can do it very, very simply. If you like this video and you're getting better at programming, please consider subscribing.